Well, what we were discussing that we were discussing about Kirti Kisan Sabha, and we have seen that Kirti was called to workers and Kisan means peasants. Okay, and what I said that this thing is important. That who started this movement? First of all, who started this movement? This is very important. Okay, so this movement was started by Santokh Singh. By Santokh Singh, 1927. He was a Gadar party leader, and in fact, the whole movement was supported by Gadar party. And this Gadar leader, by Santokh Singh, he had spent 2 years in Moscow. And you know, the Moscow and Moscow is the capital of Russia, and it was a socialist country. In fact, the people of Soviet Union were communist. So in that way, in Kirti Kisan Sabha movement also was influenced by communism. This movement was influenced by communism as well as socialism. So in this movement, you could find the whereabouts of communism, right? So initially, the Sabha plans to prepare the masses for action, then started propaganda through the press and launched a monthly magazine in Punjabi. And the name of magazine that they started was Kirti. And this magazine was firstly started in the Amritsar in February 1926. And this was a propaganda magazine, propaganda of this freedom and communism and the socialist principles, all these propagandas, and obviously the revolutionary activities. Because all these leaders of Gadar party were revolutionaries only. That we will read. The 1929 annual section of the Sabha was held at Lahore during the Christmas week. Throughout the period, the Kirtis continued to disseminate communist thought, again, which I told you. Communist thought. And preached the creed of revolt against British imperialism. The Kirti Kisan Conference held on 4th March 1931 at Anandpur Sahib on the occasions of Hola Mohalla festivals. When we will read about the cultural part of the Punjab, we will see all kind of festivals that are celebrated in Punjab. At that time, we will discuss about Hola Mohalla festival. Okay, it's very important festival of Punjab. So on this particular auspicious day of the Hola Mohalla festival, at Anandpur Sahib on 4th March 1931, they called a Kirti Kisan conference, and they called various workers and peasants, okay, from various villages. Then there is Komagata Maru incident. Now we'll read about Komagata Maru incident. This incident happened in the year of 1914. This the time of 1914 to 1918. This was a time of World War I, if you remember. This was time of World War I, 1914 to 1918. So what happened that few Punjabis traveled to Canada from India. And this was a name of this was a name of ship. Komagata was the name of a ship. Komagata Maru was the name of ship, and it was a Japanese ship. It sailed from India to India to from India it went to China and Hong Kong, and then Japan, and from Japan it traveled to Canada. But what happened when this ship with 376 passengers reached in Canada, on the coast of Punjab, Canada? What happened that they allowed only 20 passengers, and rest passengers they forced to vacate they were not allowed to land in Canada. Then rest passengers returned to India. The rest 356 passengers returned to India. And the ship bodied on Kolkata. The ship bodied on Kolkata. And what happened? Then when ship bodied on Calcutta, the people were fired. The people were fired by the Britishers, and it hurt the sentiments of Punjabis. It hurt the sentiments of Punjabis, and specifically, specifically the sentiments of the Punjabis, those Punjabis who were living outside of our country. You know, because Canada also, at that time, Canada was also occupied by Britishers, if you remember. Canada was a colony of Britishers. Both India and Canada were colonies of Britishers. And these travelers were considered as illegal migrants. Okay. So neither these travelers were allowed to land in Canada nor in India, and in fact they were fired. There was some kind of conflict, and they were fired. And because of that, the Punjabis, it hurt the sentiments of Punjabis. And this incident resulted into the Gadar movement. This Komagata Maru incident resulted into the start of Gadar party. There were other reasons also, but Komagata Maru was the immediate reason that Gadar party flourished. And now we'll see what is Gadar party. Although we have read Gadar party in national history also, but we will talk now again about Gadar party, because Gadar party involved the people of Punjab majorly. So this party, first of all, formed in foreign countries, United States and Canada. And what was their final aim? There was aim to liberate India from British rule. That was the final aim of the people of Gadar party. And these people were revolutionaries. These people were revolutionaries, like other revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, etc. These people were revolutionaries. So there were many immigrants that were living in the foreign land as workers. So they collected all those workers who were living in the foreign land. So formally, the Gadar party was formed in the Pacific Coast Hindustan Association. Was formed in 1913 in the United States under the leadership of Hardyal. Under the leadership of Lala Hardyal and Sohan Singh Bakhana. Sohan Singh Bakhana acted as president of the party, Gadar party. And the members of the party were Indian immigrants, largely from Punjab, and many of its members were students at University of California at Berkeley, including Dayal Tarak Navdas, Molvi Barkatullah, Kartar Singh Saraba, Viji Pingle. All these people were Gadarites. All these people belonged to the Gadar party. And very soon, Gadar party movement got prominence not only in the foreign land, in fact, in the Punjab also. And you know, we have read the history of Gadar party, that what happened, that they had decided one day for the overthrow of the British government, but they were defeated. All these things we have read already. They wanted to work as per the lines of Bolshevik party. Like in 1917, in the Russia, what Bolshevik, that were communist people that have overthrown the existing government of Caesar at that time. Likewise, they thought that in India also we could do the same thing. By the revolutionary activities, we could overthrow the Britishers. But unluckily, they were they were not succeeded. They also released, for example, like Kirti Kisan Sabha released Kirti newspaper as Kirti. They also released a weekly paper that was known as the Gadar. Gadar was the name of weekly paper. And the first issue of this paper, Gadar, was published on 1st November 1913 in San Francisco. Okay. So after this Gadar party, after this failure of the Gadar movement, next event that happened was Jallianwala Bagh incidents. Already we know that what was that incident. On what date this Jallianwala Bagh incident happened? Yes, what was the date?
13th April 1919.
Right, 13th April 1919. And what is the special date? What is the special about 13th April?
The festival of Baisakhi.
It was a date for festival of Baishakhi. So on this date, Jallianwala Bagh incident happened, and we know that about the story of the General Dyer, etc. I think it is mentioned later on. Whatever. That the General Dyer, was the person who gave the order for the firing. And then one more thing happened. That was the boycott of Simon Commission in 1928. We know the story of Simon Commission. I will give you a brief introduction of the Simon Commission because it is important. What happened that when Government of India Act 1919 was released, then Indians opposed that act. We know that why. Because a system of diarchy was introduced, a system of communal electorate was introduced, and that is why we opposed the Government of India Act 1919. So Britishers, what they did, they made one commission to make an analysis that whether this Government of India Act 1919 is working good or not, and what kind of reforms it is needed, and to suggest reforms so that we can frame another laws, right? So Simon Commission was formed. But what was the problem with Simon Commission? That all people of Simon Commission were foreigners. They are not used. They're not inducted any Indian in this Simon Commission, and that is why it was opposed. This could be a question in your exam in PPSC and as well as UPSC. That why Simon Commission was opposed. The answer is because each and every member was foreigner of this commission. And what was the purpose of creation of the Simon Commission? To suggest constitutional reforms. I think ये question आया भी है prelim में UPSC में. To suggest constitutional reforms. This was the objective of creation of Simon Commission. So Punjab was not the less while making opposition of Simon Commission, and who was leading the movement against Simon Commission. That is Simon Wapis Jao kind of slogan was there, right? In Punjab, it was led by Lala Lajpat Rai. In Punjab, it was led by Lala Lajpat Rai. And in this struggle, Lala Lajpat Rai was died. In this struggle, Lala Lajpat Rai was died. This Simon Commission is mentioned here, I think. Yes. They had mentioned it here. Just a second. They have not followed the proper chronology in this book, but we know what is the chronology. Whatever. So Lala Lajpat Rai was died in this movement, and it was lathi charge was made by the orders of Saunders. by the orders of Saunders. The name of this person is also famous. And it created resentment in the other revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru. They wanted to take revenge for the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. And that is why they threw few, bombs, but these bombs were, had that were not that much harmful. It was also just for a sound, you can say, for big sound. They threw bombs in Legislative Assembly on 8th April 1929. And they also raised the slogans of Inqilab Jindabad. But both of these leaders, that is Rajguru and Bhagat Singh, they did not afraid. They did not run away. In fact, they surrendered themselves because they wanted people to know that what wrong is making this British government. Okay. And we know that on 23rd of March 1931, which is a date of martyrdom for these three leaders, and these three revolutionaries were hanged in darkness. In fact, their bodies were also not provided to their family members. Okay, so this thing was happened. In fact, this Naujawan Sabha also we should read here only. After this incident, in fact, before this incident, Naujawan Sabha was also popularized by the revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh. Many youths participated in Naujawan Sabha. Naujawan Sabha actually popularized the revolutionary activities in Punjab and other areas. They distributed pamphlets. They demolished, bills which were up against the interests of people. Okay, so this is about Naujawan Sabha. Now we'll again come to the Lahore session. Lahore session of the Congress that was happened in 1929. Lahore session of Congress. Why this section? Only this Congress session we are reading here, because this Congress session was happened in Lahore, and Lahore is in Punjab, and that is why this session is we are reading here in Punjab history. And what is the importance of this session? This was the first time, 1929, in December 1929, this was the first time that Congress called that complete independence is their objective. Before that, they wanted Swaraj, or the self-rule, or the home rule. Swaraj, self-rule, home rule, self-government, everything is about the giving a dominion status like the Britishers gave in Canada. But first time in 1929, they demanded full independence. But before that, in 1928 session, that was happened in Calcutta, they gave ultimatum to Britishers that if within an year you won't give us dominion status, then we will demand complete independence in 1929. They already gave, the ultimatum to Britishers in 1928. And because Britishers gave deaf ear to them, and that is why in 1929 session, they demanded complete independence. And after that, what happened? We know that civil disobedience movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi. All of us know. In 1930. In fact, the 26th January 1930 was declared the day of independence for India. And a flag was unfurled. In year of 1930 itself, civil disobedience movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi. And what was the objective of civil disobedience movement? Obviously, to get complete independence. Because now this is the objective through the 1929 session. So they started civil disobedience movement, the Mahatma Gandhi. And what happened? Now, round table conferences were conducted in London, in Britain. And what was the purpose of round table conference? What was the objective of round table conference? Anybody? Quickly. Objective of round table conference? Anybody? All these things we have seen. Nobody is able to answer? Okay.
To discuss some
Yes.
reforms.
Yes, Kunal, can you repeat it again?
To discuss some reforms.
What kind of reforms? I'm surprised how you could forget. I think we have repeated in the prelim test series also. I gave one question and then I've discussed this
The
concept.
constitutional reforms.
What kind of constitutional reforms again? I've discussed this concept again in the prelim test series, which I have conducted, apart from our class notes. So, this chronology is very important. You need to understand the events, what event happened after what, and what is the connectivity between these events. First of all, Simon Commission forms. It was to analyze the Government of India Act 1999 and to suggest reforms, constitutional reforms. Then Simon Commission was boycotted. That doesn't mean that Simon Commission won't give its report. Even after the boycott of the Simon Commission gave its report, submitted its report to the British government. And to discuss this report, to discuss the recommendation of the Simon Commission report, they called roundtable conferences. So in roundtable conferences, what they are discussing? They are discussing nothing but the recommendations made by the Simon Commission, which is on constitutional reforms. And because we already boycotting the Simon Commission, why we would attend these roundtable conferences then? So what happened? In 1930, first roundtable conference was held in London, obviously. This conference was not attended by Congress, but this conference was attended by regional, religious, and leader of caste-based organizations. For example, the leader of Hindu Mahasabha, leader of Muslim League Party, leader of scheduled caste, B.R. Ambedkar, the communist people. These people participate. I'm not sure about the communist people, I'm not sure about them, but yes, other communal and the regional leaders participated in this first roundtable conference. But Congress didn't participate in the first roundtable conference. And without Congress, it was like that they were discussing about India. It was like that Ram Lila without Ram. Okay. So that is why Britishers wanted that Congress should also participate in second roundtable conference, which held in 1931. Second roundtable conference. And at that time, Lord Irwin was Viceroy of India. Lord Irwin was Viceroy of India. So there was a meeting between Lord Irwin and Mahatma Gandhi. Lord Irwin gave a proposal to Mahatma Gandhi that you just dissolve your movement, civil disobedience movement. You participate in roundtable conference. We will release all the prisoners which we caught in this civil disobedience movement, but only those soldiers, only those revolutionaries, only those people who didn't involve in the violent activities. Only those people we will release who made the resistance in non-violence, by non-violence, in non-violence way. And Mahatma Gandhi made its suggestions to Lord Irwin that these things we demand. I think this question came in the prelim exam. This is prelim exam, I think, about the Lord Irwin, Gandhi Irwin Pact. So these things happened, and then Mahatma Gandhi would attend the second roundtable conference. But the three revolutionaries were hanged because they made a condition that because these people made violence, already there was a case of the death of the Sonder, made by them. And that is why they said that because we clearly said that people who made the violent activities, we won't spare them. And that is why these people were, these revolutionaries were hanged. And Mahatma Gandhi, after signing the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, came back in India emptied hand, did not get anything from the second roundtable conference that held in the 1931 after the hanging of three revolutionaries, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev. So what would happen next? Mahatma Gandhi, after coming from the second roundtable conference, he would resume the civil disobedience movement. And again, third roundtable conference held in 1932. In third roundtable conference also, there was no representative from the Congress. In third roundtable conference also, Congress would boycott the roundtable conferences. Based on these three roundtable conferences, what was the result? What was the result? The result was the formation of Government of India Act 1935. These three roundtable conferences, after making so much discussion with them, where there was no Congress, they came with a new constitutional law, that was Government of India Act 1935, which they imposed on the Indian people, because Indian people were not involved in the formation of this law, but still this law was imposed on India. So what was the result of the roundtable conference? Government of India Act 1935. Everything is interconnected. You need to remember this connectivity. Okay. So whatever, you need to read all these things. Okay. And you need to note down the important facts also. I gave you the theme. And yes, and this 1929 session that was held in December in Lahore, it was presided by Jawaharlal Nehru. It's very important fact. Session of 1929, which was held in Lahore, it was presided by Jawaharlal Nehru, in which they demanded for complete independence. After that, the important event that was happened in the Punjab history, that was Gurdwara Reform Movement. Gurdwara Reform Movement. What happened that at that time, Gurdwaras were held by the Mahants, priests, and Sikhs wanted to liberate the Gurdwaras from these corrupted Mahants. Okay, and that is why they started the Gurdwara Reform Movement. And in these years, from 1920 to 1925, many activities were made to get these reforms. Okay. इसको एक दफा पढ़ लेना आप लोग. So first of all, what they did, first of all, Britishers came with this law. And what was that law? The Sikh Gurdwara and Shrines Act, which envisaged a committee nominated by the government to take control of the Gurdwaras. First of all, Britishers came with this law of 1922, which was called the Sikh Gurdwaras and Shrines Act 1922. Under this law, what Britishers said that we will make a committee, we will nominate a committee, and that committee would control the Gurdwaras. But it was not accepted to the leaders of Punjab. They said that government cannot have control over Gurdwaras. We, the people of Punjab, Sikhs, the followers of Sikhism, would control the Gurudwaras. And the people who revolted against, who called for all these reforms, who revolted against, these corrupt Mahants and Britishers were Akalis. These were Akali leaders. They become the important political figures in the Punjab history. In fact, this whole movement was called the Akali movement. And the leaders of this movement was called the Akali leaders. But what was the next step? In fact, this this is also important. That the bill was moved in Punjab Legislative Council by Sardar Tara Singh from Moga. This fact is also important. On 7th May 1925 and piloted by another Sikh member, Bhai Jodh Singh, eminent educationist and theologian. First of all, they passed a bill in their Punjab Legislative Council on 7th May 1925, and then it came to the central government. And finally, a new act was passed to make the final reforms for these Gurdwaras. And this new law was known as the Sikh Gurdwaras Act 1925. 1922 Act was not accepted by the people of Punjab. So it lost its relevance. So now new law came in the form of the Sikh Gurdwaras Act on 1st November 1925. This date is also important, because this day was the day of adoption, this day of operation. This was the date when this bill was enforced, this act was enforced. Okay. So what they provided under this act, what kind of reforms they suggested? They said that we would create a central Gurdwara board. It's very important fact, you need to remember this. They said that we will create a central Gurdwara board elected by the Sikhs themselves, who will be the custodian of the all important Sikh places of worship. Right now it is popularly known as Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee. Yes, am I right? Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee. Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee. But few people criticized this action of the Britishers. What they criticized? They said that in fact, they took away the power of Akalis to control the Akal Takht. Because earlier Akalis used Akal Takht to coordinate with each other, to give the message to the Sikh people. But now this Akal Takht will be taken care by, in fact, and now there are two separate institutions were made. One became the political institution, that was Akali Dal, and other became the cultural institution that came under in the form of Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, SGPC. So few people criticize that it separated the 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 political leaders as well as the religious leaders. In that way, the platform was taken away from the political leaders. So this is one of the criticism of this act also. Now at the last, there is a timeline which is given here. What happened when? All of us know that what happened when. Alexander came in 326, and when this Aryan civilization was there. Okay, we know it in better way. We have catered all these things, right? But these years are important. When Khalsa formed, period of the 10 Sikh gurus, all these things you can just revise. You need to read something more about Banda Bahadur. That is important. Okay, what kind of battles he fought? Battles fought by Banda Bahadur. This is a very important topic. I think it is not discussed in detail here. That you can search on Google also. Battles fought by the Banda Bahadur. This is very important. This topic is very important. Okay. So this is it with this history of Punjab. From next class, we will start the geography of Punjab. Okay, the geography of Punjab. And tomorrow there is no class, and maybe on Sunday there would be or won't be a class. I will left a message, but on Monday definitely there would be a class. Okay. So you can revise all these things that we have read. I've already shared the notes. I will share the practice test paper also. On weekends, you can attempt those practice test papers also. If you have any doubt regarding anything, you can ask me right now. Yes, anybody has any doubt regarding anything? Okay, if there is no, then we'll meet on Monday. And if there will be class earlier, I will message you.